centuries of soil and sea, gold emerges, but not as treasure alone. From the Aegean to the Andes, each piece carries a language we can't fully read. Whose hands forged them, and whose secrets do they still keep? Beneath the turquoise waters off the coast of Pylos, Greece, archaeologists in 1939 uncovered a golden artifact unlike any other, the so-called Ring of Nestor. Delicately crafted from a single sheet of gold, its elliptical bezel depicts a vivid scene. For miniature figures, possibly deities, engaged in a ritual beneath a crescent moon. Around them, fine engravings suggest sacred offerings, flowing water, and perhaps a tree of life. The craftsmanship is astonishing, not only for its precision, but for the way the engraver managed to fit such complexity onto a surface scarcely more than 2 centimeters across. Initially, some believed the ring was the very one described in Homeric tales, worn by King Nestor himself. Yet, analysis revealed something puzzling. Stylistically, the ring aligns not with the Mycenaean culture of Nestor's time, but with Minoan artistry from Crete, centuries earlier. How did it arrive in Pylos? Was it a treasured heirloom, a war prize, or an object of diplomatic exchange? Even more curious, scholars have noted that the ring's imagery doesn't match any single known myth. The figures, the flowing motifs, the lunar symbol. They form a scene that feels familiar yet remains unnamed in the surviving literature of the ancient Aegean. Today, the Ring of Nestor rests in the National Archaeological Museum of Athens. Visitors can admire it, but the questions linger. Whose hand first wore it? And what forgotten ritual does it truly depict? In the summer of 1955, a plowman working the fields of Havor, on the Swedish island of Gotland, struck metal and uncovered the beginnings of what would become one of Scandinavia's most celebrated archaeological finds, the Havor Hoard. At its heart lay a masterpiece of Iron Age goldsmithing, the Havor Hoard Torc. Forged from solid gold, the Torc is heavy yet perfectly balanced, its twisted strands forming a seamless loop that ends in finely decorated terminals. The surface bears a subtle, almost hypnotic pattern of ridges and grooves, each one catching the light in a way that suggests deliberate artistry rather than mere ornament. Weighing over half a kilogram, it was not a casual accessory. It was a statement of status, power, and perhaps sacred authority. Analysis places its creation between the 3rd and 1st centuries BCE, in a period when Gotland sat at the crossroads of trade between the Roman world, Celtic Europe, and the Baltic tribes. Yet, the Torc's exact origin remains elusive. Its style resembles Celtic craftsmanship from far to the west, raising questions about whether it was imported, commissioned by a traveling artisan, or created locally under foreign influence. No written record tells us who wore it. Was it the adornment of a chieftain, a high priestess, or an object of ceremonial exchange between distant cultures? Today, the Havor Hoard Torc resides in the Swedish History Museum, gleaming, silent, and withholding the story of its journey. It remains a testament not only to ancient skill, but to the mysteries still buried beneath the soil of Gotland. In 1831, near the ancient Etruscan city of Vulci in central Italy, excavators opened a tomb that had lain undisturbed for more than 2 millennia. Inside, they found a burial rich in artistry and symbolism, the now famous Vulci set of jewelry. Crafted in high-carat gold, the collection includes ornate fibulae, rings, earrings, and pendants, each one a miniature showcase of Etruscan metalworking mastery. The pieces display techniques such as granulation, the application of impossibly tiny gold beads, and filigree patterns so fine they seem almost woven from light. Mythological figures, lions, palmettes, and sphinxes appear in delicate relief, their forms both decorative and symbolic, suggesting themes of protection, status, and the afterlife. Dating to the 6th century BCE, the set reflects the wealth and cultural connections of the Etruscans, a people whose influence stretched across the Italian peninsula before Rome's rise. Yet, its exact origin remains uncertain. Some motifs suggest inspiration from Greek art, while certain technical features point toward Near Eastern goldsmithing traditions. Was this jewelry the work of local Etruscan artisans trained abroad, or imported treasures placed in the tomb of a woman of high rank. The tomb's occupant is unknown, but the opulence of the pieces suggests a life of privilege and perhaps political or religious significance. Today, the Vulci set of jewelry is preserved in the Louvre Museum, its surfaces still gleaming after 26 centuries. Each piece invites the same question. In whose hands did these gold treasures once rest, and what story of love, power, or ritual accompanied them into the earth? High in the river valleys of what is now Colombia, the Quimbaya culture flourished between the 4th and 7th centuries CE, master goldsmiths whose work still astonishes modern eyes. Among their most distinctive creations were the Quimbaya gold nose rings, artifacts that blended personal adornment with profound cultural meaning. Fashioned from tumbaga, an alloy of gold and copper polished to a deep, warm glow, these nose rings were far more than simple ornaments. Some were crescent-shaped, others wide and flat with intricate repoussé designs, and a few were so large they would have dramatically altered the wearer's appearance. Archaeologists believe they were worn not only for beauty, but as markers of social rank, spiritual identity, or participation in ceremonial rites. Many examples have been found in elaborate burials, often alongside other gold work such as necklaces, ear spools, and paporos. The placement of these nose rings on the face of the deceased suggests a symbolic function, perhaps connecting the wearer to the divine, or signifying a journey into the afterlife. Yet, without surviving written records, their exact role remains an enigma. The artistry is unmistakable. Precise hammering, subtle texturing, and careful symmetry, all achieved without modern tools. This skill raises questions about the extent of the Quimbaya's metallurgical knowledge and their trade networks for obtaining precious metals. Today, many Quimbaya gold nose rings are housed in Bogotá's Museo del Oro, gleaming under controlled light. They speak of a people whose identity was etched not in stone, but in gold, and whose stories, like the metal itself, remain untarnished by time. In the lush valleys and mountains of pre-Columbian Colombia, the Quimbaya people crafted gold with a precision and artistry that still captivates scholars today. Among their most admired creations are the Quimbaya gold necklaces, adornments that seem to bridge the realms of beauty, status, and ritual. Fashioned from tumbaga, an alloy of gold and copper, these necklaces range from simple link chains to elaborate arrangements of pendants, beads, and zoomorphic charms. Many feature stylized birds, felines, or human figures, each rendered with an elegance that suggests symbolic meaning. The metal's warm, reddish hue, enhanced by a process of surface depletion to leave pure gold at the exterior, gives these pieces a radiance that would have caught the sun during ceremonies or processions. Archaeological finds often place these necklaces in tombs alongside other fine gold work, indicating they were treasured possessions in life and significant offerings in death. Some may have marked the rank of a leader, shaman, or revered elder. Others perhaps embodied spiritual connections to animals or deities. Yet, in the absence of written Quimbaya records, the precise meanings remain speculative. Their craftsmanship demonstrates advanced metallurgical knowledge, from alloy control to precise casting and polishing techniques. The uniformity of certain patterns suggests organized workshops, while stylistic diversity hints at extensive cultural exchange within the region. Today, the Quimbaya gold necklaces are preserved in Colombia's Museo del Oro, glowing softly under display lights. They remain silent witnesses to a world where gold was not merely wealth, but a language, one whose words we can admire, but not fully translate. Deep in the fertile landscapes of ancient Colombia, the Quimbaya civilization perfected the art of transforming raw metal into objects of both beauty and significance. Among their most distinctive adornments were the Quimbaya gold ear spacers, jewelry pieces designed to stretch and ornament the earlobes, marking both identity and prestige. Crafted from tumbaga, a carefully balanced alloy of gold and copper, these spacers often display a warm, reddish sheen that reflects the Quimbaya mastery of surface enrichment techniques. Many take the form of thick, polished discs or cylinders, their edges rounded to ensure comfort, yet embellished with delicate repoussé patterns or incised designs. Some incorporate miniature figurative motifs, birds in mid-flight, stylized faces, or abstract symbols whose meanings remain elusive. The size of certain spacers suggests they were worn by individuals of high social rank, perhaps as a public display of authority or spiritual connection. Archaeologists have found them in richly furnished burials, often paired with gold nose rings, necklaces, and ceremonial vessels. Their presence in these graves hints at a role beyond mere ornamentation, possibly as markers of clan identity, rites of passage, or the wearer's role in sacred rituals. Despite their refined craftsmanship, no written Quimbaya record survives to explain their full significance. What remains is the tangible evidence of artistry: perfectly symmetrical forms, burnished surfaces, and motifs that speak in a visual language we can only partially interpret. Today, the Quimbaya gold ear spacers rest in the Museo del Oro, gleaming in quiet rows, a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry the weight of an entire culture's mystery. In the heart of ancient Colombia, the Quimbaya people shaped gold into objects that were as much symbols of power as they were works of art. Among their finest creations are the Quimbaya gold bracelets, adornments that encircle the wrist with a blend of elegance, precision, and cultural depth. Fashioned from tambaga, a gold-copper alloy, these bracelets often exhibit a warm, reddish tone, refined through a process that left the surface rich in pure gold. Designs range from simple, smoothly polished bands to elaborately decorated pieces featuring repoussé patterns, incised lines, or stylized animal motifs. Many display a careful symmetry and a mastery of proportion, suggesting the work of highly skilled goldsmiths operating within specialized workshops. Archaeological discoveries place these bracelets in burial contexts alongside other prized Quimbaya goldwork, indicating they held significance beyond mere decoration. They may have marked the status of leaders, warriors, or spiritual figures, and their durable form meant they could be passed down through generations as treasured heirlooms. Some bracelets are open-ended, allowing for adjustment, while others form complete, unbroken circles, perhaps symbolizing continuity or eternal cycles. The absence of written Quimbaya records leaves their exact meanings uncertain, but their placement in ceremonial graves hints at a role intertwined with beliefs about life, death, and the afterlife. Today, preserved in the Museo del Oro in Bogotá, the Quimbaya gold bracelets still gleam with the same luster they carried over 1,000 years ago. Their silent curves speak of a culture where gold was not merely wealth, but an enduring expression of identity, honor, and mystery. Across the verdant valleys of pre-Columbian Colombia, the Quimbaya civilization forged gold into objects that were both personal adornments and vessels of meaning. Among their most captivating creations are the Quimbaya gold pendants, artifacts that seem to carry stories in their shapes and forms. Fashioned from tambaga, the Quimbaya's signature alloy of gold and copper, these pendants range from small, simple forms to elaborate castings depicting birds, felines, human figures, and abstract symbols. Many were made using the lost wax casting method, allowing artisans to produce intricate details. The spread of a bird's wings, the curve of a human arm, or the flowing lines of a geometric motif. Once cast, they were polished to a brilliant sheen, the surface enriched to leave only pure gold visible. Often discovered in tombs, these pendants may have served as protective talismans, social markers, or ceremonial insignia. Some designs appear to reference animals associated with strength, agility, or spiritual guidance, while others remain abstract, their meanings lost with the oral traditions that once explained them. Their craftsmanship speaks of a society with advanced metallurgical knowledge and an appreciation for symbolic artistry. The careful balance between form and weight suggests they were intended not just to be worn, but to move gracefully with the body, catching light and drawing the eye during rituals or gatherings. Today, the Quimbaya gold pendants reside in Bogotá's Museo del Oro, glowing softly in climate-controlled cases. Though their shapes are clear to us, the messages they carried remain hidden, golden whispers from a civilization whose voice has faded into the past. Scattered across Ireland, Britain, and parts of continental Europe, A curious form of Bronze Age ornament continues to puzzle archaeologists, the so-called lock rings. Dating from roughly 1000 to 800 BCE, these objects are usually made of gold, though examples in bronze and other metals exist. Each consists of a hollow, crescent-shaped body, carefully formed from two concave plates joined along their edges, leaving a narrow slit. Some are plain and polished to a mirror-like finish. Others bear fine incised lines, concentric ridges, or intricate geometric patterns. Their craftsmanship demonstrates remarkable precision, especially given the limited tools of the time. Despite decades of study, their exact function remains uncertain. The term lock ring comes from the early belief that they secured hair, perhaps worn as elaborate ornaments at the base of braids or locks. Their size varies considerably, some small enough to fit snugly in hair, others large enough to encircle part of the neck or be sewn into clothing. The widespread distribution of lock rings hints at active trade networks and shared cultural practices among Bronze Age communities. Yet, subtle regional differences in design suggest they may also have held localized symbolic meanings, perhaps denoting status, lineage, or participation in specific rituals. Today, many examples are preserved in the National Museum of Ireland and the British Museum. Under display lights, their curved surfaces catch and reflect gold's warm glow, just as they must have done more than 3,000 years ago. But the question endures, were these adornments, insignia, or something entirely outside our modern frame of reference? In the hills and valleys of ancient Dacia, in what is now Romania, archaeologists have uncovered treasures that speak of a culture both warlike and artistically refined. Among the most striking are the Dacian multi-spiral snake-headed bracelets, masterpieces of late Iron Age goldsmithing that blur the line between ornament and symbol. Forged from solid gold, each bracelet consists of multiple spirals coiled into a powerful, flexible form, with terminals shaped into stylized snake heads. The craftsmanship is meticulous. The serpent forms are smoothly contoured, their eyes and mouths subtly defined, the coils perfectly balanced in thickness and curvature. Weighing hundreds of grams each, they were not mere trinkets. They were deliberate statements of authority and identity. Dated to the 1st century BCE through the 1st century CE, these bracelets appear to have been reserved for Dacian elites, chieftains, warriors, or high-status figures whose position was reinforced by the visual language of gold. The snake motif, common in Dacian art, may have symbolized protection, fertility, or an ancestral spirit, intertwining personal adornment with spiritual meaning. Many were discovered as part of hoards, buried deliberately, perhaps to protect them from Roman invaders during the Dacian Wars. Their sheer size and weight suggest they were worn on ceremonial occasions, if at all, serving as both regalia and talisman. Today, several examples are housed in Romania's National History Museum, their spirals gleaming under glass. They remain silent witnesses to a vanished kingdom, a people whose gold spoke in symbols we can still see, but only partly understand. In the arid steppe landscapes of ancient Turkestan, a burial site yielded a pair of ornaments whose elegance transcends time: the crescent-shaped gold earrings with grape motif. Fashioned from high-purity gold, each earring takes the form of a delicate crescent, its surface adorned with clusters of tiny, rounded beads arranged to resemble grapes. The motif is striking, not only for its beauty but for its symbolic resonance. In many ancient cultures, grapes were linked to fertility, abundance, and the cycles of life. The precision with which these minute spheres were crafted and affixed demonstrates advanced metallurgical skill, likely achieved without the benefit of magnification. Archaeologists date these earrings to the early centuries of the Common Era, a time when the Silk Road carried goods, ideas, and artistry across vast distances. Their craftsmanship shows affinities with Hellenistic traditions, suggesting cultural exchange between Central Asian artisans and Greek-influenced goldsmiths to the west. Yet, subtle details, the curvature of the crescents, the arrangement of the grape clusters, hint at local design preferences, making them distinctly products of their own land. Recovered from a richly furnished grave, the earrings may have belonged to a woman of high status, their form and imagery marking her role within both family and community. Whether worn in daily life or reserved for ceremonial occasions, they would have caught the sun with every movement, turning the wearer's presence into a visual statement. Today, the crescent-shaped gold earrings with grape motif are preserved in regional museum collections, gleaming as reminders of a world where artistry traveled as far as the trade routes themselves, and where gold carried meanings that remain just out of reach. From the burial grounds of ancient Turkestan comes a form of adornment that blends beauty with the imagery of power: the gold arrowhead jewelry. Crafted from high-purity gold, these small arrowhead-shaped pendants and fittings exhibit a refined balance between martial symbolism and decorative elegance. Each piece is carefully hammered and shaped, with edges sharply defined yet smoothed for wear. Some are plain, allowing the natural luster of the gold to speak for itself, while others bear fine, incised lines or geometric motifs that suggest cultural or tribal affiliation. Archaeologists date them to the early centuries CE, a period when Central Asia stood at the crossroads of the Silk Road. The arrowhead form may have evoked both the hunter's skill and the warrior's authority, an emblem of survival and strength in a land where nomadic life demanded mastery of the bow. In some graves, these gold arrowheads appear strung as necklaces. In others, they are attached to garments, perhaps as protective charms or symbols of lineage. The craftsmanship shows a blend of influences. The precision of the shaping recalls steppe nomad metalwork, while decorative patterns hint at contact with Hellenistic or Persian traditions. Their dual nature as both ornament and talisman would have made them potent personal items, worn close to the body. Today, examples of gold arrowhead jewelry from Turkestan can be found in regional and national museum collections. Their forms still sharp, their gold still radiant. They endure as traces of a world where even the weapons of war could be transformed into objects of art, and where every ornament carried a story worth remembering. In a burial mound on the ancient plains of Turkestan, archaeologists uncovered an object whose polished surface once reflected the faces of a vanished world: the bronze mirror. Circular in form and expertly cast, the mirror's front was once smooth and gleaming, though centuries underground have left it with a soft patina of green and brown. The reverse side carries the artistry of its maker: concentric rings, geometric motifs, or perhaps a central knob designed for a cord or handle. Its proportions are balanced, its weight suggesting it was made for regular use yet also durable enough to endure the passage of time. Dating from the early centuries CE, this mirror likely came to Turkestan through the vast trade networks of the Silk Road. Similar designs are known from China, Persia, and the Greco-Roman world, hinting at the cosmopolitan reach of the region's elite. In burial contexts, mirrors often held symbolic significance, not only as tools of personal grooming, but as objects tied to light, vision, and the soul. Placed beside the deceased, the mirror may have served as a protective talisman, a marker of status, or a guide for the spirit in the afterlife. Its craftsmanship shows that the artisan understood both utility and beauty, casting bronze to a fine thickness and achieving a reflective finish without modern polishing tools. Today, the bronze mirror from Turkestan rests in museum care, its surface no longer showing a clear image, yet still capable of reflecting the intricate connections and mysteries of the world from which it came. From the archaeological site of Tepe Challo in western Iran comes a pair of ornaments that reveal the sophistication of ancient Persian metalwork: the gold earrings from Tepe Challo, fashioned from high-purity gold. Each earring is a study in balanced form and meticulous detail. The hoops are sturdy yet refined, with terminals shaped into small globes, cones, or stylized floral motifs. Some surfaces bear delicate filigree or granulation, techniques requiring precise control of temperature and a steady hand, hallmarks of experienced goldsmiths. Their compact size suggests they were designed for everyday wear, yet their precious material marked the status of their owner. Dating to the late 2nd or early 1st millennium BCE, these earrings come from a period when Western Iran was a nexus of cultural exchange. Their style reflects a blend of local traditions with influences from Mesopotamia and the Iranian plateau, perhaps transmitted along early trade routes. The craftsmanship implies that specialized workshops operated in the region, serving the elite with jewelry that was both personal adornment and a marker of social rank. Found in a burial context, the earrings likely accompanied their owner into the afterlife as valued possessions, symbols of identity, or protective talismans. Their placement near the skull suggests they were worn at the time of burial, a detail that offers a rare glimpse into ancient customs of dress and display. Today, the gold earrings from Teep Challo are preserved in museum collections, their surfaces still catching the light much as they did thousands of years ago, quiet witnesses to the artistry and cultural connections of ancient Iran. Excavations at Teep Challo in western Iran revealed a piece of personal adornment that bridges utility, artistry, and symbolism, the gold finger ring. Fashioned from solid gold, the ring features a simple yet refined band, its circular form perfectly proportioned. Some examples from the site are plain and polished, while others bear engraved or repoussé decoration, geometric patterns, stylized flora, or abstract motifs that may have held symbolic meaning. The gold's warm hue and high purity suggest it was a possession of considerable value, likely belonging to someone of elevated status. Dating to the late 2nd or early 1st millennium BCE, the ring emerges from a period of cultural and political interaction across the Iranian plateau. Its form reflects both local craftsmanship and broader metallurgical traditions, possibly influenced by Mesopotamian or Anatolian design. The evenness of the band and the precision of any incised decoration indicate a high level of skill, achieved without modern tools. Discovered in a burial context, the gold finger ring was found near the hand of its wearer, a placement that suggests it was worn at the time of interment. In many ancient cultures, rings could serve as seals, status symbols, or amulets, and while its specific purpose here remains uncertain, its presence in the grave attests to its importance in life and death alike. Today, the gold finger ring from Teep Challo rests in museum care, its modest size belying the cultural and historical weight it carries. A small, enduring link to the personal world of an ancient Iranian elite. From the burial grounds of Teep Challo in western Iran comes an object as unusual as it is finely made, the ivory and bronze hand-shaped pin. The pin's shaft is cast in bronze, slender yet sturdy, tapering to a functional point. Its head, however, transforms it from a simple fastening tool into a work of symbolic artistry. Carved from ivory, it takes the form of a miniature human hand. The fingers are carefully defined, proportioned with surprising realism, and in some cases shown grasping a small object, perhaps a stylized rod or symbolic token. The combination of bronze and ivory speaks to the artisan's mastery of working with multiple materials, as well as access to valuable resources. Dating to the late 2nd or early 1st millennium BCE, this pin may have been used to fasten garments, veils, or cloaks, functioning as both a practical accessory and a visible display of status. The hand motif is particularly intriguing. In many ancient cultures, the image of a hand could represent protection, authority, or the transmission of blessings. Whether its meaning here was personal, religious, or purely decorative remains unknown. Recovered from a burial context, the pin was likely worn at the time of interment or placed beside the deceased as a valued possession. Its materials suggest that the owner belonged to the social elite, while its craftsmanship hints at specialized workshops within the region. Today, the ivory and bronze hand-shaped pin from Teep Challo stands as a rare and delicate testament to the creativity of ancient Iranian artisans, and to the small yet enduring symbols they left behind. From the archaeological layers of Teep Challo in western Iran emerges a small yet enigmatic artifact, the bronze stamp seal depicting human feet. Cast in durable bronze, the seal is compact, designed to be pressed into clay or soft material to leave a raised impression. Its face is engraved with a pair of human feet, rendered in simple but deliberate lines. The toes, arches, and heels are clearly distinguished, suggesting the artisan's intent to portray them with recognizable accuracy. The reverse side bears a short handle or loop, allowing it to be held firmly or suspended from a cord. Dating to the late 2nd or early 1st millennium BCE, this seal belongs to a period when such objects served as markers of identity, ownership, or authority. Yet the choice of motif, human feet, is unusual in the corpus of Near Eastern seals, where geometric patterns, animals, or deities are more common. The meaning of this imagery remains uncertain. It could have signified travel, presence, a specific clan emblem, or even a symbolic blessing. Discovered in a burial context, the seal may have been a personal possession, a professional tool, or a ritual item. Its inclusion in the grave hints at its importance to the deceased's role in life, whether administrative, ceremonial, or symbolic. Today, the bronze stamp seal depicting human feet is preserved in museum care, its surface still bearing the fine incisions made thousands of years ago. Small enough to fit in the palm of a hand, it holds a mystery far larger, the lost meaning behind the simplest of human marks. From the excavations at Tepe Challo in western Iran comes an object that blends artistry, symbolism, and daily life: the black stone snake and scorpion cosmetics box. Carved from a single piece of dark stone, the container is compact, with smooth, well-polished surfaces and a fitted lid. What transforms it from a simple vessel into a work of cultural significance is its decoration. In low relief, a snake winds sinuously around the lid's edge, while a scorpion occupies the center. The figures are stylized yet unmistakable, their forms carefully incised to convey movement and presence. Dating to the late 2nd or early 1st millennium BCE, the box likely served as a container for cosmetics, perfumes, or pigments. The choice of motifs is striking. In ancient Near Eastern symbolism, snakes could represent renewal, healing, or protection, while scorpions were often linked to danger, guardianship, and the supernatural. Together, they may have formed a protective emblem for the box's contents, or conveyed a ritual association with the items stored within. Found in a burial context, the vessel's placement suggests it was a valued personal possession, perhaps part of the grave goods of an elite individual. Its craftsmanship reveals the skill of a stone carver familiar with both functional design and symbolic imagery, while the presence of such detailed iconography hints at a rich tradition of visual storytelling. Today, the black stone snake and scorpion cosmetics box is housed in museum collections, its polished black surface still bearing the careful marks of its maker. A small yet enduring reminder that even the tools of beauty in the ancient world could carry layers of meaning and mystery. Discovered in 1831 within an Etruscan tomb near the ancient city of Vulci, the gold fibulae from the Vulci set stand as exquisite examples of early Italian goldsmithing. Fashioned from high-purity gold, each fibula, an ancient form of brooch or clasp, was designed to fasten garments while serving as an overt display of wealth and status. The Vulci examples feature arched bows and meticulously worked catch plates, adorned with intricate filigree and granulation. Tiny gold beads, arranged in symmetrical patterns, cover portions of the surface, while fine wire scrolls and rosettes add depth and texture. These details reveal a mastery of techniques that required both steady hands and a deep understanding of metallurgy. Dating to the 6th century BCE, the fibulae reflect the Etruscans' connections with both Greek and Near Eastern artistic traditions. Their form is functional, yet their decoration elevates them to the realm of ceremonial objects, likely worn by individuals of high rank during public gatherings, religious rites, or funerary processions. The gold's purity and the labor invested in its embellishment suggest that they were more than simple fasteners. They were statements of identity and prestige, found alongside other lavish jewelry in the same tomb: rings, earrings, pendants. These fibulae contribute to the picture of an elite Etruscan woman laid to rest with the symbols of her wealth and social role. Today, the gold fibulae from the Vulci set are preserved in the Louvre Museum, their delicate details intact after more than 2 millennia, still capable of catching light and drawing the eye just as they did in life. Unearthed in 1831 from an Etruscan tomb near the ancient city of Vulci, the gold rings from the Vulci set form a remarkable group of 5 individual masterpieces, each distinct in design yet unified by exceptional craftsmanship. Fashioned from high-purity gold, the rings vary in form, some with plain, smoothly polished bands, others with elaborate bezels bearing engraved intaglios or miniature reliefs. Subjects range from mythological creatures to stylized floral motifs, their details rendered with precision using techniques such as fine chasing and repousse. The bezels themselves display a variety of shapes, oval, rectangular, and circular, reflecting both personal taste and broader stylistic trends in 6th century BCE Etruscan jewelry. The variety within the set suggests they were not created as a matching group, but rather assembled over time, perhaps as personal acquisitions or family heirlooms. Their presence in a single burial speaks to the wealth and status of the tomb's occupant, and may also hint at symbolic or ritual significance, with each ring carrying its own meaning or connection to myth. Etruscan goldsmiths were famed for their mastery of granulation and filigree, and traces of these techniques can be seen in the decorative bands and borders of several rings in the set. The imagery blends local artistic traditions with Greek and Near Eastern influences, underscoring Vulci's role as a cultural crossroads. Today, the gold rings from the Vulci set are preserved in the Louvre Museum, their surfaces still gleaming after more than 2,000 years, 5 small yet enduring links to the identity, taste, and prestige of an ancient Etruscan elite.